What's good, YouTube? It's AMM back again with another video. Obviously, if I'm wearing an NWO shirt, you know I have to go on ahead and do the NWO Wolfpack intro. So let's get into the topic of what we're here for today. Today we're going to be talking about my album, well, second album, Space Cowboy. Now, I wanted to do this video for a long time since the album released, and now I'm finally getting the opportunity to do it. I want to go on ahead and talk about the producers that are on there, and I also want to talk about the meanings of each single song and why I named the album Space Cowboy and why the songs have their names and everything else in regards to Space Cowboy, all that information. But first thing, before we get into any of that, be sure that you go on ahead and hit the like button. Then you go on ahead and want to subscribe to this channel. Then after you subscribe, make sure that you leave a comment giving any kind of feedback with regards to the channel and what had you the most excited about this particular video. Now, let's get into the topic. Space Cowboy. It's my second album, and you can go on ahead and find it right now and listen to all of it after you watch this video or before you watch this video. So if you're gonna do it before, go on ahead and just hit the pause button right now before we get into everything that we're gonna get into. Now, first thing that I want to do is thank everyone that had a role to play in the making of this album. I want to thank the producers, I want to thank my children, I want to thank my lovely lady, and I want to thank so many other people, but this video would be way too long for me to thank everybody else. So if I didn't mention you, just know that I have a thanks extended your way. The first thing I want to talk about is the producers. I have 3 producers work on this album, and I'll go on ahead and leave either a link below or maybe one of their pictures, something on here, so that way you know who they are and you can go on ahead and reach out to them. If you also make music and you need some fire beats, I mean, they're very, well, you hear the album, or you will hear the album, and trust me, they're extremely fire. Each producer, they all had their own set of tracks that they went ahead and produced, and I'll specifically say which track they produced once I get to their tracks. I'd also like to go on ahead and thank Julier Designs, and I'll go on ahead and leave his Instagram link below if you have any artwork that needs to be done for your music or anything else, as he has a wide range of different type of artwork that he's able to do. You can go on ahead and click the link below, give him a follow as well on Instagram, and reach out to him. The making of this album, well, Space Cowboy, it sounds cool, yes, but I didn't just want something that sounds cool. I wanted something that kind of reflects on me. Now, space is something that's obviously vast, unknown. We have a lot of ideas of kind of what's out there, but there's so much more beyond our reach, beyond our planets, our galaxy, our universe. All that is to simply say that what are we doing here on this planet, and what kind of legacy are we leaving on this planet? So the space part of it has to do with that, where it's me reflecting upon my life and what am I providing to this planet, what am I providing to this galaxy, to this universe as AMM. So growing up, my dad would always tell me, you know, son, I'd really just picture a giant mustache on him. I'd really love for you to become an astronaut. I think you can do it. And obviously as a kid, I was like, yeah, that's cool. I would love to be an astronaut. But going through school and realizing all the science and math that an astronaut would need, yeah, that just wasn't for me. Obviously, I did not become an astronaut because I'm not filming this to you live from space. Though, don't get me wrong, that would be incredibly awesome. But that's also where the concept of space comes from. The cowboy part of my album, a cowboy is considered a lone ranger, someone that's out there on the wild west. Well, was out in the wild west. To me, a cowboy was always someone that was independent, was able to do incredible things, was always a strong-minded person, strong-willed individual. To me, Space Cowboy is the combination of that unknown out there, leaving a legacy, searching for something beyond the universe, but at the same time being that lone ranger, being able to guide yourself and survive. Put it together, and that's how we got Space Cowboy. Now, when it comes to the artwork of Space Cowboy, I absolutely wanted something that would stand out, and I told Julier Designs that, man, you know, this is exactly what I'm looking for. But he was able to deliver the idea that I have in my head about what Space Cowboy would look like or should mean in terms of my whole concept behind the album. Now, as you can see, I have a skeleton there, and he's wearing what appears to be a cowboy-like outfit, and I have the digital and the synth look and everything like that. You also got the planet in there and the rocket ship taking off. Now, all those things is a combination of what was in my mind when I was thinking about the album cover for Space Cowboy, and I think he hit the nail right on the head. It's a perfect cover for the album. The whole skeleton being on there has to do with, I wanted to be able to show that honestly this idea, this concept of Space Cowboy that I told you earlier in the video, that could be anyone. That's why I decided to go with the skeleton instead of the image of myself, so that way it could be anyone that would be behind the flesh and the nerves and the mind. And I wanted it to be able to reflect that that could also be you feeling that same kind of way. So that's why I went ahead and used the skeleton for the image. In the track list here, songs 1, 2, 3, and 4, they're all produced by Psyre, which I will go on ahead and leave his link below, and you can go on ahead and check him out and to connect with him. Now the songs 5 and 6, those were produced by Seaside the Miracle. He's a friend of mine that I go on ahead and always try and make sure that not only do I have a song with him because I genuinely enjoy his artistry and the lyrics and the content that he provides as an artist, and genuinely have the desire to work with him because I think he's a great rapper. I also want to have his instrumentals on there so that way he can also expand on his audience, show what he's able to do, flex his muscles on the production side of things. And he produces the whole album with me. We work on it from when we're recording to setup, things like that, and we get together and we discuss, you know, how the song should flow, and he gives me ideas on the song, and you know, obviously I give him the feedback, he gives me feedback. It really works well. So I always want to make sure that I have his influence on the album, which is the reason why I like to work with him and have him put his instrumentals on the album and his lyrics, and again his rapping on the album too. He produced 6 and 7. So track 6 and 7, that's once again produced by Seaside the Miracle. Track 8 was produced by Tetro, and I'll go on ahead and leave his link below so you can go on ahead and check him out as well on Instagram. Give him a follow, connect with him. He's also very approachable and willing to work with artists, and he's definitely somebody that is up and coming. I think that you should absolutely check out. He has a wide variety of beats, all quality beats, and definitely check him out. He produced the last song on the album, and I really wanted to make sure that from beginning to end that I delivered a solid album for everybody to enjoy. The very first song, and I will go on ahead and put it here so you can see the whole track list if you haven't checked out the album yet, which once again, wink wink, nod nod, go check it out. I wanted to make sure that each name of each song fits the space theme. That's why I went ahead and chose different words that have to do with space and has to do with the galaxy and the universe, things like that, to describe the themes of each song. The very first song is Nebula. Now, when I was coming up with ideas for this album, I wanted to make sure that it all fit the theme. I didn't want to call the album Space Cowboy and have the first song be called Bad. It wouldn't make sense at all. Nebula is the song that I wanted to start off with. That was a solid banger, honestly, one of my favorite songs off of the project, and it's something that I really think sets the tone for the way the album is going to go, the delivery of the album, the strength of the album, and it's really an aggressive song that I kind of wanted to get out there and give people, you know, the understanding of, you know, these are my thoughts, these are my concept, and my Nebula, me, AMM, it's shining bright right now. You know, you can see it. It's something that's far out there, but you can see it, and that's the reason why I decided to call it Nebula. If you listen to the lyrics in the song, one of the lines on the song is, "My nebula bright, look how it glows." So obviously, like I said, a nebula in space, it's bright, it's glowing, it's filled with different colors, and although I'm wearing black and white today, I feel that I'm more of a vibrant person, and I'm more out there. with my thoughts and my ideas. I mean, hell, look, I'm even on YouTube telling you about it, and typically people would not have the time to go on ahead and get in front of a camera and describe every single one of their songs to you, or describe anything about their life or anything like that. So I always feel like I've been out there in terms of my imagination, my mind, my creativity. Now onto the second track, Astrology. As you know, astrology is the study of the stars in terms of a Gemini, Aquarius, Aries, things like that. There's also Sagittarius, Taurus, different forms, different studies of the stars. So that's what astrology is. Astrology is, for me, what I used it as is, in terms of that song, the theme is the study of human beings, people. I love to study people, their behaviors, and who they are, what they do, why they are a certain way that they are, and why they make excuses, why somebody strives for greatness, why somebody desires to make the same mistakes, things like that. So I use that concept, that idea, to make astrology. Astrology is, astrology is people reaching out to me and wanting me to conform and be of a certain way, and I just don't desire that. I desire to be me. I desire to continue to use my creativity, my imagination, and not conform to what may be hype out there or what may be popular out there, and continue to still be myself. Not necessarily saying that change is bad, but sometimes change isn't for the good, and pressure and changing to become something that you're not, to become fake, well, how can you ever truly be yourself? So that's what the song Astrology is about. Being myself and living in a world where there's a lot of fake out there, a lot of people that just live for the popularity, a lot of people that just live out there for the hype, and staying myself and truly avoiding all of that and living my life in the way that I would like to. Our third track coming up is Venus. Now, Venus is not obviously just a planet, but Venus is inspired by this book that's out there. That's the title of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. It's just always something that kind of stuck in my head. I've never actually read it, but it's always stuck in my head. And I'm sure what it's describing is that women are strong, powerful, and it's honestly true. But it's not just inspired by women out there. I wanted to give a song that was more personal to me in terms of how I felt towards my lady. She's strong, independent, powerful, and she's like a goddess, if you will. And that's what I think, a woman that's strong and powerful. And I wanted to make sure that that kind of was applied into the song, and not only that it applied to her, but that it was something that another guy could hear and maybe use it for his strong woman, or that another girl can hear and she can use it for her lady. I wanted to make it something that was personal to me, but also relatable to others. This is one of the songs that's honestly become one of the more popular songs off of the project, unexpectedly, but it is. And I'm glad that those of you that do like it, listen to it and enjoy it. But that's where the concept of Venus comes from. The fourth track on the album, Interstellar, that one there, it's inspired not just by the name of the movie Interstellar and the whole movie itself, in terms of a father going on a space trip and traveling through time, and that connection with his daughter in the movie also plays a part in that song, in terms of traveling through time and space. And it's about my journey throughout my life, and from a teenager to my early 20s to where I am now, and each step along the way that's brought me to where I am now. So that's what Interstellar is. Are you relatable to people still? Do people still feel the way they do about you? Can you relate to those people? And sometimes, when you feel so that you become so different from those people, from the people that you used to hang out with, or when you become so different from those that are your loved ones, is it something that they can still relate to? Can they still connect with you in the same way throughout all those changes in your time, in your strand of time, in terms of what you've done through space and time? Do those changes make you still relatable? Do those changes still make you the person that you claim to be, the person that you want to be, and the person that you hope to be for the generation that's currently living and the generation coming up? Track 5, which is one of my favorite tracks just in terms of the energy. I wanted to give something that would pop and bang after you had the lows of Interstellar. Not necessarily lows, but you know, it's a different type of vibe. I wanted to give something back that would bang and really give energy and, you know, make people want to jump up and down and, you know, move around and kind of get them going. So that's what Celestial is. The word Celestial has to do with being of the sky, of the stars, of space. But Celestial also has to do with something alien or angelic, heavenly. So that's what Celestial being is. Celestial being has to do with the influence of artists on me, such as Kanye West, Travis Scott, Kid Cudi, Prince, Michael Jackson. You know, people that are honestly idolized, kids that go out and wear their clothes, people that really enjoy anything that these artists put together, whether it would be clothing, musical, visually, whatever it happens to be. But the idolization of those people and the way that you see them as higher beings, and it has to do with if somebody that is out there listening to my music, would they see me in that light? Are they going to see me in that light? How does it feel to be considered a celestial being? It's kind of that cockiness as well, you know, once you do have people that constantly listen to your music, want to dress the way that you dress, want to be the way that you are. It's that cockiness and the arrogance that comes with it. So it has to do with a combination of, like I said, the idolization of stars out there, the feeling of being somebody like that, and how you would interpret, how would that make you feel, and are you going to be doing the same, and how you should be watching what you're saying, because like I said, you never know who's listening to your music, then the impact that it'll have on them and the influence that it'll have on them. So that's what celestial being is. It's not just about the stars and, you know, being heavenly and of space, but it's about being a celestial being, being looked at like a god. And I'm not saying that I'm a god, far from it, incredibly, like the furthest thing from it, but what that feeling would be like and how that would be. Now the next song is track number 6. So now we're getting into the 2 tracks that are produced by Seaside the Miracle. This song is called Light Year. Light Year has to do with that feeling as an artist, whatever kind of creative venture it is that you happen to be on in your path of life, being that person and feeling that maybe you're just not supposed to be in this generation. And I use that in the terms of the saying, I was supposed to be born in a different generation. Sometimes people say that because they listen to different music, or they wear different clothes, or they feel different about whatever's going on and whatever's cool in the popular culture at this particular time. That's not necessarily a bad thing, that's just how they feel. This song, Light Year, has to do with that feeling of being so far removed from everybody else right now. And maybe as an artist, as a poet, whatever creative avenue that you're in, you feel that maybe now they don't appreciate what it is that you provide in terms of the music or the content, but maybe years from now, light years from now, they'll be able to go on ahead and listen to it or see it or feel it and appreciate what it is that you provided. So it's that as an artist. So that's what that has to do with. Is it going to be something that people will appreciate my music now, or will they appreciate it later? And how that concept makes me feel. Now track number 7, we also got Seaside the Miracle not only producing the instrumental to it, but he's also featured on the track. I think track 7 is probably my favorite song on the whole project, and I decided to call it Eclipse on the Rodeo because it's something that rarely happens, it's rarely seen, but that rarity on the rodeo, on the journey of life, it's something that people always want to attach themselves to, or they either hate on. There's obviously going to be people in the middle that like some of the stuff but not all of it, but there's always going to be those people that because it's good, because it's popular, because it's different from what they're used to, because the approach of it is different from what they're used to, it's always said that it's easier to hate than to love. So people decide to hate it in terms of having snakes in the grass, people that are around you that obviously see your ambitions, see your goals, see the creativity you have, wish that they were able to do the same thing, have the same amount of courage as you, to take the same journey, take the same lengths, take the same steps that you have in life to be able to express yourself through that creative avenue, and they can't for whatever reason, and instead of talking to you about it, instead of being real with you about it, they decide to be fake, they decide to be undercover, they decide to be, unfortunately, for lack of a better phrase, a hater. And haters, you guys are out there. I'm sure there's people that are watching this video right now and want to go on ahead and type their hate comments, and by all means feel free. It's cool, that's fine with me, because I know eventually at some point in time it's going to come. So don't worry about me, I'll be good. Hate away. And that's where the whole concept of that song comes from. I think it's another song too, after the mellower tones of Lightyear, that I wanted to bring back up, build up, and really provide the energy and give people something to move to, but also have a deeper meaning. Now, the last song on here is produced by Tetro, and it's something that I really wanted to go on ahead and display my lyricism, and I wanted to call it Retrograde. Retrograde has to do with, obviously, the optical illusion. For example, when people say Mercury is in retrograde and their feelings are different, that's one part of the song. But it also has to do with the optical illusion that Mercury is rotating different from how it usually is rotating and how it looks to us on planet Earth. So retrograde refers to the change in terms of the backwards movement for planets and other celestial bodies. With that, I wanted to take that concept and apply it to my life, my music, in terms of feeling that the way that I make music, the way that I apply myself to my music, my concepts, my themes in my music and my writing is different from a lot of people that are out there. And I wanted to make sure that you really got that energy and that feed in the song. And I wanted to just use a beat that would go on ahead and display my lyricism and still have that spacey theme, that spacey vibe that the rest of the songs in the album do, but get to the point in terms of people being in their feelings because of Mercury in retrograde, and the whole concept of feeling like I move different. Well, YouTube, if you made it this far into the video, there you have it. And I appreciate that you made it this far into the video. And now you know the whole reason, the whole point, the whole meaning behind Space Cowboy. I hope if you haven't listened to it yet that you go on ahead and click on one of the links below and definitely check it out. It's absolutely worth listening to. It was my favorite project that I've ever made, and it's something that I really put a lot of heart, a lot of mind, a lot of soul and dedication into. So I really hope that you guys out there go on ahead, check it out, and enjoy it. As always, YouTube, be sure to go on ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so that way you're always updated on any kind of content that I bring to the channel and that I want to provide to you guys to be able to check out on the day that it is uploaded. If you have any kind of comments at all, be sure to leave them down below. I'll be more than happy to chat with you about any of the things I talked about here. And be sure to stay tuned on the channel for a lot more videos, a lot more content to come. And as always, thank you for everything. And now, to get out of here.